Yes, I told y'all I was going live twice. And I told y'all, and I promised y'all, I was going to have a very thought-provoking conversation about the material reality that we live in. But listen, I know a lot of us lost in the sauce of capitalism. I know a lot of us is lost in the sauce and how it didn't commodify our human relationship. Bro, I'm bringing on today, I see him as being an expert, you feel me, in terms of like Marxism, and an expert in terms of like history. I think he's really good at being able to connect the dots between like theory, history, and contemporary shit that's going on. So if you're not following him, if you're not following him and you looking to add a little bit more consciousness, you had to add a little bit more verbiage, a little bit more, vocabulary, rhetoric to the reality we live in. Listen. I'm not gonna stray you wrong, y'all. I'm not gonna stray you wrong. Can you introduce yourself to the people? And then after you introduce yourself to the people, can you answer the question that we here to answer right now? Is socialism the answer? Who are you though, folks? Who you be? Who is you? Education.
Wow. That was a wonderful introduction. I don't know if I could do any better myself. I got one from the GOAT, but I am the chain slayer. I'm educated in sociology and humanities. Right now, I'm getting my master's in critical theory. I come from Atlanta, Georgia. I don't come from the best environment. I come from the hood. A young nigga had to get his GED. A young nigga had to go through programs just to get into college. A young nigga done seen the worst of the worst. I done see my partners that get shot. I done shot at some niggas in my life before. I done had to come to realize the truth that I was a victim of the system. The people that I supposedly hated was a victim of the system. And even the man that I would point towards as my oppressor would sometimes be the victim of the system. So I try to release people from the matrix so that we are not hopelessly dependent upon it, and so that we can be free and tap into our true humanity, because the default state of humanity is together. The default state of humanity is surviving collectively. So that's what I try to always impose. And I talk about the history, I talk about the theory, and I talk about now, because the reason we are where we are now is because of the fights of our ancestors. The reason we are where we are now is because of the thoughts, the emotions, the power of our ancestors. So that's why I always try to impart upon people. And I really appreciate you for having me on, friend.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So what one of the things that I think pulled me into your content is, first, I can feel like, you wanted a homie. So like, man, I feel like I'm saying, like one of the family members that then fell into one of these damn books and went down a rabbit hole like I did, and just came out on the other side. Like, you know what?
How long?
How to think about the world is not the way the world actually works. It ain't what's really going on, man. So one of the things I like how you break down though is how you break down socialism. I want you to kind of I'm gonna give you the mic and be like,
okay, yeah. So a lot of people with socialism sees like, they think that socialism is the government just doing things, right? They think that socialism is just free healthcare and free childcare. But really, people must understand that socialism is an entire restructuring of life around our human needs. Right now, life is structured around profit, around money, right? When you say, I need to go get a house, you don't say, I need to go get a house. You say, I need to go get enough money for a house. When you say, I need a car, you don't say, I need to go get a car. You say, I need enough money for a car. So capitalism bars your access to things you need. And to get access to it, you have to slave, right? You got to slave for the factory, you got to slave for the corporation, or you have to slave yourself for yourself, even as a small business owner, right? To attract anything, you have to sacrifice, you have to not fucking eat, all type of shit. You're going to constantly have to have less within this system, because for others to have more, you cannot have. And that is exactly how this system works. So we need to create a new system. And the thing about it is, what people don't understand is what I'm talking about, socialism, is how people live for 95% of humanity, right? This fucking this nigga having all this shit and me not having shit. That's a brand new thing, because in the past, when humanity burgeoned, If we did not share what we had, we all died. Survival was cooperative. And then we started farming and we started having surplus. And to protect your farm, you have to have patriarchy. You have to have violence. You have to have separation. And this is where we see the family is born. This is where we see the subjugation of the woman to the household. And that was one of the first prisons, right? So this whole system.
I just seen a video of this professor talking about how one of the first ways we slid into capitalism is how we I feel like I'm gonna use my own terminology, like the way we transcended patriarchy that made it where in order for us to shift from feudalism to capitalism, we have to codify gender in terms of labor and make it where you got to sell your labor to exist, and your labor needs a house in order that person to go out to sell the labor. And that's how we start to create the difference between the public and the private. And because capitalism is about privatization of property. Like once you start privatizing property, like once you believe in privatizing property in a particular manner and it's shit that's supposed to be communal.
And exactly. And a great book about this is Cabal and the Witch by Silvia Federici. I always say it wrong because she's Italian. But and what it describes is, it is a good one, is the witch hunts, right? We learned the witch hunts are like religious hysteria.
Hey, also, they want to know, are you on Facebook? Somebody want to know in the comments, are you on Facebook?
Oh yeah, nah. I know. I gotta get on Facebook.
I got y'all. Yeah, we gonna get them. We gonna
get. Y'all gonna get me on Facebook. But yeah, the witch hunts. They try to say, oh, it was religious hysteria. They try to, but in fact, it was the centralization of power, because women had communal power, right? And there was something literally like common lands where people could farm, live on. People would, like the church was on the common lands. There were common lands that people just lived on and just used, right? And during the witch hunts, they took these common lands, and the women that were so-called witches were influential women in the community that had power that did not arise from money, right? It arose from fertility, it arose from veneration, it arose from spirituality, it arose from a connection to land and culture. So this is why we see the witch hunts. This is again why we see subjugation of the woman to the house, subjugation of the woman to specific domestic labor. This is why we see domestic labor, like reproductive labor, like having a baby, being treated not as shit, right? It's like you could take care of a baby all day and they'll treat you like you ain't never put an hour of work in now and under capitalism, because all it is for is to reproduce labor. You just simply become a machine. So everything that this system does, it's used to extract from you. Even having fun, even you fucking having fun is used to extract from you. This whole system is used to feed pedophilic, cannibalistic. See, I'm coughing because it made me goddamn sick. Pedophiles, okay?
Yeah.
And they've been doing this for a long time, right? Like we were talking about. Family is a very important aspect of this. This is why you see people talk about the Rothschilds and talk about the Rockefellers and shit, right? Yeah. Because this system is built to protect family. As I said, we started farming, right? And once you start farming, you got to protect your land. To protect your land, you got to have hella kids. And to have hella kids and to control them, you got to know who your kids is. So this is why your woman.
So I think I like what you're doing right here. I like how I think I get rhetorically what you're doing right here. So I asked, what is socialism? And I like that you did the move of, before I tell you socialism, let me give you a monstrous critique of capitalism for you to be able to not engage in any of your romanticized propaganda about capitalism being the best way, the only way, or for you to be, because in my mind, like, you went half. So now for somebody to respond to you, let's say I was a capitalist.
Yeah.
Before you even give me your response to socialism, I have
you ain't got nothing to say.
But also I can't disavow your alternative without talking about the status quo you just gave me. If I concede status quo is bad, Now, you know what I'm saying, an argument about what socialism is, it has more context. And if you know what I'm saying, so I get what you're doing. So with all that being said, who would you tell the audience, you feel me, to read in terms of the definition you feel to give about socialism, and just how would you define socialism in a world where you know extraction, dehumanization, exploitation, accumulation of bodies, suffering, and money, like that's the status quo. In my mind, socialism is the alternative. And listen, when you get this explanation, can you already as well build in some of the other responses to like, well, socialism fails? Well, because you know, I know you know. So
yeah, I got you. I got you.
Up in there for me too, man.
Socialism. First, let's talk about what socialism is. Okay, socialism is a transition to communism, which is kind of an endpoint where there is no race, there's no class, there's no money, there's no state. We're just all living amongst each other as we used to. Okay, and this is why we need socialism, because there is so much extraction. Like I said, every point of the system is used to take from you. So you have to dismantle that. And the only way you're going to dismantle that is by first looking at the contradictions. A contradiction is something like this. The slave owner needs me for his house, right? And I have no house, right? So that right there is a contradiction. And we have to overcome these contradictions. For this contradiction to be overcame, it would be I take slave owner's house or I build my own house, right? So same with socialism. There are deep contradictions within capitalism. We work every day, yet we can't pay our bills. We work every day, yet we don't have medicine. We work every day, yet we're dumb as fuck and we can barely read. So this is why socialism brings in free education, free healthcare, free, because it's to uplift the people. It's to uplift. Go ahead.
Now, I want you to respond to why you like agree.
And communism is a type of socialism, yes, because in theory, right? When we're reading Marx, he doesn't say socialism, right? Marx says lower communism and fuller communism, right? Communism is a process and an endpoint at the same time. The same way a square is a rectangle, but a rectangle is not a square, right? So
I like that.
So we have to get to a point where we're not worried about money, where we're not worried about race, where we're not worried about all this shit. And to do that, niggas need to not be worried about survival. This is the main reason why we're racist. This is the main reason why we do crime. This is the main reason why anything happens, because niggas want to survive. So why do niggas sell drugs? Because they want to get money so they could go get food and clothes and this. Once these things have to be provided without having to struggle, without having to fucking go to jail, right? For you to get food in America, you either have to go slave at CVS, you have to go slave at a prison, you have to go slave for the system, or you have to go steal it, right? Under socialism, for you to get food, all you'd have to do is be alive. That is the difference between socialism and capitalism. Socialism is allocating the resources we have now, today. When socialism happens, we are going to take the factories, right? We're going to take the means of production. It says seize the means of production. We're going to take it. And the factory that's making shirts right now for $15 and making the owner billions of dollars, all that money is gonna go. It's gonna be a non-profit, my nigga. All the money is going back to the people, and it's gonna be putting shirts on niggas' backs. And it's simple as that, because the system we have now will always be making shit for profit. This is why 40% of our food is wasted. 40% of our food is wasted.
Hey, so conversation I had earlier was about I talked about the concept of the libido economy. And I know that pessimism didn't create that term, you know what I'm saying? I know Frank Wooderson is borrowing from somebody when he talks about the libido economy, but I was talking about the economy of its emotions and feelings, and talking about how it's particular people are able to mobilize their feelings and emotions, but also thinking about the actual economy of desire. You know what I mean? Within your analysis, you feel me? How would you account for the emotional economy or the libido economy, And like, how would you describe that in terms of how exploitation works and how we orient ourselves towards food, and even the emotional response some people will get when they hear the word communism or socialism? But
Yeah.
what is your analysis?
So a great book about this is a great author on this is Frantz Fanon, right? He was an author, he was a psychologist, and he was in Angola during the Civil War and Revolution, colonialized Angola. He was studying the colonialized. And us in America, we are colonialized people. So, and as he was studying the colonialized, he realized that they wanted to be the white man. They had their own language, but they wanted to speak the colonizers' language. They had their own culture, but they wanted to take on the colonizers' culture, right? And then he saw, on the other hand, the colonizer would never accept them in the culture and would never accept them as one of them. So, as a colonized person, you are in a limbo. And this is why we have these desires. This is why we have this hate against communism and hate against socialism, because the system will not survive without it. If you knew that shit, I don't have, if nigga, nobody would work at McDonald's at all if we could survive the way we're supposed to, right? We have been completely alien. And this is another thing. Karl Marx talks about this in Das Kapital. It's called alienation, right? Capitalism will alienate you from four things: people around you, your labor, what you make, and eventually yourself, right? So this alienation makes us feel like we're in constant danger, like we're not safe, like we need the system. And the system is like daddy. He comes and says, "Oh, it's gonna be okay. Just let me do slavery, and you'll get your bag of chips, and you'll get your DoorDash." And this, but you must realize,
This was crazy right here too, as well. In thinking about concept of alienation, I think we have some people in the comment section that I can use that are showing and illustrating how you become lost in the sauce of capitalism, and you start to really ask questions that's already framed through that perspective of alienation. This guy right here says, "And who are you going to get to work the factory?" This person right here says, "Who will sell and who will you sell the products to?" This person right here says, "Who's going to take the time to learn how to operate everything in the factory?" All they talking about is that the framework they have in terms of production is always controlled by transactions, and they believe that in order for us to have a factory, somebody has to make money from the factory. They're not thinking about the factory in terms of, no, the part of the factory is to provide the product. You think that product has to always be in relationship to transactions. He's proven that literally right now, my bro just made an analysis about alienation and how capitalism forces y'all to get into this form of alienation. These questions right here, to me, are illustrating in real time how we become alienated from even literal survival. It's like, hey, what do we use factories for? For people to eat, or people to clothe themselves?
Exactly.
Who's gonna work the factory? Well, if nobody can make money, then what's the point of learning? That's what somebody basically asked, like, who's gonna learn?
And this is what I always say. This is what I always say to niggas like that. Niggas, bro, look. Unemployment is.
I want to be clear right here when you say. I want to be clear when you say niggas to the audience.
Oh yeah.
This is
everybody.
Right now. So yeah, I want to be clear that this is niggas talking right now. So nigga in this instance is non-gendered. You feel me? And
it's everybody.
He's talking about all niggas.
Everybody, all y'all in this chat right now is my niggas, and I'm talking about us, okay? This is what I'm saying.
Because it's a white man right here, so I want to make the white
man. Okay, yes. And white man, check this out. You probably not white. You got to get back into your culture. You German, you French, you Italian, you something. You're not white. Let's talk about that later. But anyways, look, unemployment is a new thing, okay? Work is what humans do to survive. Do you understand that? Like, if you don't work, if you don't hunt, gather, nigga, you don't survive. If you don't build tent, you don't survive. You don't have to fucking point a gun at niggas to make them work, okay? A nigga makes a chair so he can fucking sit on it, okay? This is why we work to survive. Counter example, who organizes meetings and attend them? I've been to many work-paid, forced-boring meetings. Is anyone in this chat getting paid to be here right now? Exactly.
No, nobody's being paid to
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Bruh, you live under a society where you're constantly at gunpoint forcing you to do shit. Imagine what you would do, right? If you were not at gunpoint, okay? You would be, if you worked at a factory, you would say, hey, you know what? I'm only gonna come here 4 hours a day, right? Well, let's get more people to come in here and make the fucking chairs. You know what? Fuck it. I don't want to work at the factory. Let the robots do it. This is fully luxury commun. This is fully automated luxury communism, nigga. We're all humans and we want to survive. Okay? We don't have to work. Make the fucking robots do it. Just don't put me in slavery. Okay? Simple as that. If the robots are doing the work, nigga, I should be able to live my life freely. I should be able to go to movies every fucking second of the day. This is humanity. Do y'all want to live in Star Wars? We trying to do Star Trek. Do you want the future? You get to make the world. Stop pretending like the rules are made for you. We make the rules, okay? And the rules right now, you feel like you have no power and you externalize power because you do not understand how to change it. And this is why we got revolutionaries like me and my boy here, because we telling you exactly how to change it. The way you change it is first by rejecting their reality, okay? Unplug from the matrix. Second of all, is by getting in your community, real life. They alienate you from real life. So you have to go out of your way to read books. You have to go out of your way to go learn woodworking and go learn skills and trades that can be valuable to your community. If you do have a trade, go help people in your community, right? If you know electricity and niggas lights is fucked up in your hood, ain't no fucking reason why that should be happening, okay? If you a mechanic and you know grandma car fucked up and you hear that bit brr, 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 every day when that bitch start in the morning, you go help her. This is the first step.
And Kevin, I'm only engaging you because I think that you're helping us go further in the analysis. But when you
builds robots?
Someone goes to work, someone goes to school for hours because they feel like it. This is the paradox you found yourself in. People like you love to ascribe no value to particular degrees in the status quo, meaning you indict people for going to people with your ideology. I don't know you. People with your ideology believe there are worthless degrees, meaning you're conceding the reality that people go to school for hours because they feel like it. So in this example, already showing you what you trying to project in your argument, what you declare in your argument, you've already disproved it with the status quo. Yes, people learn.
And then not only that,
because
you completely missed the fact that the system organizes what people already do, right? It's like an engine. It's like energy, right? There's gasoline. You put that gasoline in the engine is gonna start running. And as simple as that, right? As socialists, we're saying that this car is driving off a fucking cliff. Turn it around. And the way we turn it around is not by sitting in the back seat. It's by going up to the front seat and taking the wheel. The way you do this is by understanding how the world works. The world does not work by people doing what the fuck they want to do. Okay? The world works through resources. The world works through water. The world works through how do I get this water to me? Okay, that's work. And that is
that's what I like about you. I like how you're able to take this shit and make it very practical, even if it is very jarring for people to be like, damn, I wouldn't talk that way. I think two things to be true and said like this. I think that we can critique things as well as engage them where they at to try to push it along. Mm-hmm. Can you explain to the people what your analysis is and what your response was to hearing particularly our fellow leftists talk about the No Kings protest rally parade? And what was your response in terms of activation and in terms like I feel like you provided a very unique. So when it comes to the performative critique of the No Kings rally, Mr. ChainSlayer, sir, what is your response?
This is what I say, bro. Look, I'm not a damn liberal, okay? So liberal shit going on really has nothing to do with me. I'm a fucking communist. So when I'm going to anywhere, right, wherever the fucking people are at, I don't care if it's 5, 10, 1,000, okay? I'm going to organize them, okay? I'm going to get those people. I'm going to say, hey, there's something bigger than a king that we're against. We're against a system. Once you leave this protest, what are you doing in your neighborhood? Let me help you do something in your neighborhood. You live on the west side of Atlanta. Well, you know what? We got a food program going on there. We got an educational seminar going on there. This is what you do. This is, I don't give a damn what these damn liberals are doing, okay? Because they're not gonna do shit. Okay, they're not gonna do shit, but just keep going to war, keep fucking playing the gambit. I'm against the system. You're with the system. I'm against the system.
Mr. Slayer, sir. I thought everybody that went to the parade are liberals. So how do you say you don't care what liberals do if you go to the parade with liberals? I don't know what the relationship of you going to there with liberals and you being able to organize.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is this country and this state likes to tell us who the fuck we are, right? But we define ourselves, okay? A liberal, a Republican, or whatever, to me, they are people, okay? And they are people struggling, okay? And they come here for answers. And the answers that they're getting from Raphael Warnock is this war is going the wrong way. Not that this war needs to end, right? And so this is why you need, as a leftist, as a socialist, you need to be out there. So you can say, no, it's not because we're doing it the wrong way. It's because we should have never went to war in the first place. You have to be that voice that they need to hear, because what they're hearing isn't it activating them, right? But once they hear the truth, they'll be like, oh shit, let me go over there. Let me go. And as revolutionaries, as communists, as people who want a better world, we have to uptake every fight. We can't sit out any fight.
Hey, class in session, just keep on going, keep on going. So
yeah.
Jillian Mike said, you a what? You a what?
I'm a communist. I'm a communist. I'm a revolutionary. Okay.
This dude is against wearing the system that he claimed to be against. So how can you be against capitalism if you're wearing capitalism? Can you respond to that, please?
Think about this. That's like saying, how can the slave be on the slave? How can the slave have clothes from the slave farm, but he's a slave? There's no ethical consumption under capitalism. Okay. This system uses everything that we have to exploit, to do slavery, to do evil shit. The point is not to completely say, I'm gonna just never wear clothes. I'm gonna just know. The point is to say, I need to take the factory so that the clothes are no longer being made this way. You're not gonna stop anything by just saying fuck it, right? You don't stop a fight by just fucking walking away, right, with your sister and your auntie. You gotta get in between that motherfucker. You got, hey, auntie, back up. Hey, sis, back up. This is how you do it. You gotta be active, okay? Inactivity is what feeds the system. Passiveness is what feeds the system, okay? Sitting here talking about, oh, you're on the iPhone, but you did it. First of all, the iPhone was made by communism, okay? They could never do this. They could never do this. In China, it is hard to, if you can't even starve in China, okay? So again, socialism is not about saying, again, and this is another thing, let me just say this. Capitalism makes socialism, right? You have thesis, you have your antithesis, and then you have your synthesis. For socialism to even be thought of, right? Niggas had to see slavery. Niggas had to see exploitation. Niggas had to study capitalism to see, okay, this is what capitalism does. It slaves people to make stuff. So if we want a better world, we can't slave people to make stuff. To have that understanding, you literally have had to have seen a slave. So these contradictions birth socialism. Socialism cannot be without capitalism. You have to take the factories that capitalism has and turn those factories into production systems that are used to give people their needs. And as simple as that.
And just classes in session, obviously, for the people watching this that are watching this in good faith because you want to learn about socialism, or you want to learn about material reality, or you want to learn critiques of capitalism. The reason why we're engaging people, the reason why I'm engaging people right now in the comments that are saying particular things, because I think this is the way that capitalism has programmed them to emotionally respond to arguments when they hear about socialism. And so I think there are a lot of contradictions that we're able to get at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
and that's good. That's good. You know, that reminds me of, I always say a book, The Pedagogy of the Oppressed, right, by Paulo Freire. And it's about education. He was a Brazilian educator. And he says that the system trains you to be passive about your oppression, and not only be passive, but to be active in your oppression and oppressing others through training you to simply accept banking information. So instead of you learning through conversation, instead of you learning through questions, through challenge, right? You learn it's shut up and remember this. Repetitive. Shut up and fucking listen. Shut up and take this. And that right there is one of the first steps in training you to be docile. As a child, we're not taught to ask the teacher questions, right? We're not taught, we're almost scared to ask the teacher questions. So that's why us as communists and us as revolutionaries, we have no problem with y'all asking us questions, right? Because we're not capitalists. We're not, we want you to fucking think, right? To not think is to be a slave. Sorry.
Definitely. And just for the people that's watching right now, if you think it's a contradiction to surviving capitalism while criticizing capitalism, you don't recognize that the call like it's right in front of your face. A lot of us criticize capitalism because it forces us to survive in it. The same contradiction. How can you be a slave criticizing the plantation and you eat mass food? How can you criticize and say slavery is bad, but you eat and you get dressed by all the things that slavery's about? It's like, no. You believe that the reason why we have this product is based off
because of the slave master.
You don't recognize that this thing that you're talking about, it would have existed anyway. The only thing capitalism is doing is exploiting the labor that it is to create.
Yeah,
you know what
exactly.
I'm saying? It's keep it, I feel like keep it going with this, keep it going with this.
Yeah, no, exactly, no. Exactly, because you make the iPhone, you make the shirt.
Hold on.
Sorry.
Real fast. I want to say this for the list. The reason why y'all are asking, do you own a factory? A lot of why y'all asking is people don't start. A lot of y'all, to me, are illustrating the contradiction in capitalism. Capitalism tells us that we always can have innovation and that our creativity can always ascend to something better. A lot of y'all have locked yourself in the framework of capitalism and you refuse to think about innovation as something being better. And as a result, you would literally say shit like, hey, well, I think that technology wouldn't exist without capitalism. It's like, that's not true at all. If you understood history, you knew history, you wouldn't say that.
And that is a reactionary. That is what we call a reactionary, right? A revolutionary changes history, moves with history. History moves forward. It does not move backwards. It does not move cyclical, right? It propels forward. You as a reactionary, you're reacting to what we have now. Why are people risking their lives to go to the USA? Why are people risking their lives to go to?
I want to respond. I want you to respond.
Because we're bombing their homelands. We need them here to work. That's why we need them. Bro, the CIA has cooled every country across this planet. Chile, 1973. I mean, Iran happening right now. Right now, they're destabilizing the Middle East because they know that the system is crumbling and they're going to need people who are, you're about to see one of the craziest humanitarian crises out of the Middle East ever. And they want it. They want it. The only people, they want it. They need it. They need the slave labor. That's why. That's why. Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and the rest of them. That's why.
And I always believe when people ask that question, it shows their ignorance in international relations and it shows their ignorance of American hegemony.
Because ask yourself, where is the cartel getting their guns from? Where does 80% of the cartel? Who trained the cartel? JSOC and IDF. Search it up. You can go right now. Why was the cartel in Israel? Why? Where are they getting, bro?
It's just too many ways. It's just too many ways that capitalism has forced people domestically to buy into this romanticized idea of utopian. If you work hard, you'll be able to get what you want. The contradiction is, hey, a lot of people work 80 hours a week and they still can't afford to feed themselves and still can't afford to live. Under your romanticized idea of capitalism, it says that if you work, you can eat. If you work, you can live. Right now, we see late stage capitalism. So I want to get into the question of asking you, how would you define late stage capitalism? I'm about to think, but it's like a lot of people right now are denying the reality that we live in. Everybody around us work hard. People have 3-4 jobs in a household and they can't afford to live. So when you say, how do we work for this, or socialism is lazy, it's like, hey, when you think about the way that the colonizers came into America and thought about the way that the colonized people that we got, the indigenous folks, we're talking about the Chutta, Cherokee, hey, how did they live? It wasn't in capitalism. Or even think about this. Some of y'all is a victim of capitalism, the funding of education, and you don't have a historical analysis of capitalism, and you think that capitalism is always there and always has been. So a lot of times you gotta ask the question, is this thing I'm saying uniquely exists within capitalism? Did it exist in hunter-gatherer systems? Did it exist in feudalism? If it did, it show you that you are a goddamn fool in believing that capitalism monopolizes or corners the market on a particular thing. And that's just a reality that we all got to sit with. And the last thing I say this for you for respond. For people like Lloyd, for people like Kevin, y'all are illustrating in the comment section right now that you don't have the ability to think for yourself, and whatever your capitalist master say you should believe and think and spew, that's what you do. As a matter of fact, think about it. Not being paid anything to be in the comment section at all, but you're still choosing to emotionally be here because you are triggered. And not only are you triggered, capitalism has indoctrinated in you. It's in your DNA. That now you want to fight in the comment section to you want to defend capitalism and capitalists as a person that's poor and got the time to fuck with me in the comment section. Like,
but that's okay. And you know why I say that's okay?
You're mad about it now, so you can do something about it. That's what I want you to like.
Yeah.
What do about it though? It's like that's how I want
exactly. But that's why I say, look, check this out. That's okay because we look throughout history, right? The Bolsheviks, they didn't have a majority of the country. They had 30% of the country. Y'all niggas are sheep. Y'all are fucking unorganized. Y'all are not a problem. All we need is the people who see the truth. There's enough people who see the truth. All the people who see the truth just need to come together, get organized, strategize, and we'll conquer and divide the fucking sheep. Okay? This is, and not only that, it's inevitable. The American, and like he said about late stage capitalism. See, late stage capitalism is actually a sign of the American experiment crumbling. Every 7 to 10 years, we see a stock market crash, right? 2008, it was a housing crisis. In 2021, it's COVID. And mind you, they could have operated the economy in a way where COVID didn't completely destroy the economy. Instead, they operated in a way where they could shut your business down and buy it, right? So this is what they do. They destroy the economy for people like me and you, so the rich can buy everything you have. Buy everything you have until we have nothing, right? And we're all debt slaves to them. This is what they want to do with techno-feudalism. They want to buy, Elon Musk wants to own Texas and have you buying shit with Tesla coins, right? This is why they're trying to give you Bitcoin. This is why the American dollar is crumbling, right? And they know it. They know the end is coming, right? Because they don't pay you enough. Everything that they have to do to keep this society running, they don't do because they want unlimited profits, right? So they do not give a fuck if the world ends. They do not care if America falls into chaos. As long as they can fly away, as long as they still can preserve their power. So late stage capitalism is the signs of the system crumbling. And then you see fascism. And fascism is the system defending itself. It's like an animal backed into a wall, scratching and clawing. Right? And it says, this is the problem. That's the problem. When everybody knows the problem is the man in the seat telling you who the problem is.
Definitely. So, and this to this add some teeth, add some more context to this. I feel like sometimes me and you, we didn't read a lot of it. So
we know.
Feel me? So late stage capitalism, it was coined by this economist, a German economist by the name of Werner Somberg. Late stage capitalism is a phrase used to describe the current, often absurd phase of modern economy, characterized by extreme income inequality, massive corporate influence over government, and the commodification of daily life. I should read that again, actually.
Yeah.
This is a phrase used to describe the current, often observed phase of the modern economy. It's characterized by extreme income inequality and massive corporate influence over the government. It's the commodification of daily life. Like if you're in denial that definition does not fit the current stage we in, I think that you're confused with America and Egypt, and it's like denial is a river in Egypt. It's not in America. You see what I'm saying?
And you see it in your everyday life, right? You see it like I was just talking to my friend. He got a son in Little League, in like Little League baseball, right? And he was like, "Yeah, bro, I spent $10,000." I said, $10,000. On what little league and he goes to a public school. It's just for your kid to go have fun outside. They extract from you, right? Just for you to get food, they extract from you. Just for you to get medicine, just for you to go down the road, gas, they extract from you. Every single moment, they are
Please,
extracting from you.
please, please, please.
But fascism comes from communism. No, it does not. I don't know what. No, it does not. Like me when I spread misinformation. No, it does not. Fascism is capitalism defending itself, and I'll prove it through history. Right, the people who put Hitler in were the industrial factory owners. The reason why they put Hitler in is because they were communists and socialists, saying, "I want to get paid more. I want rights."
You
I
can look
don't
right
want you
now.
to have this power.
It's like
So
you
to preserve their power, they will do fast. To preserve their power, they'll put themselves in danger. And as simple as that.
Y'all hear this? So it's like we don't even have to go to that example. Everybody with sense in America understands that we're dealing with a fascist and Donald Trump. There was no socialism that came before him. As a matter of fact, him being a fascist is only to protect the capitalist interests of the corporations.
Simple.
I got niggas on Facebook that I'm born and raised around. You feel me, in my hometown. I get they had an emotional response because they're in the military, but their emotional response and how they've been indoctrinated to respond to critiques of the military industrial complex does not negate that every war America has fought, it definitely since World War II, has been in the interest of corporations. You're not fighting for the freedom of America if you're blowing up Iranian schools. You're not fighting for the American freedom if you going into Iraq to steal gold or to steal oil. You're not fighting for the interests of America if you went to Korea to terrorize.
What have any of y'all got out of it?
Not only none of that got out of it, to me, it's just showing like, hey, you don't have the ability to think for yourself, or what we're saying to you makes you feel cathartically that you have some type of threat. And as a result, you emotionally responded in a way. I'm not saying this. I'm not saying emotion is bad. I'm not saying emotional response is bad. I'm saying the way that they are framing the response makes it where it's all emotion and we're going to get to nothing else. And it's a program response. When you hear critiques of capitalism, respond this way, but you will starve. It's like, so you really believe before the history of capitalism, people were starving? Do you believe that? Do you believe in hunter-gatherer systems and feudalism and anything a historian would say predates the industrialization of Europe? Because basically what it comes down to is like, hey, so to me, it's like this. To me, the belief in capitalism also justifies a lot of imperialism, European imperialism, because it says, hey, capitalism, they brought on capitalism, they are the way that the world should be freed, and all the world gonna be able to experience its liberty and experience the greatest thing it has. And because capitalism, the beginning of capitalism is traced back to European industrialization period. Yeah, to me, that is how we're able to subconsciously ascribe a bunch of superiority on the Europeans. They created the best economic. They created the best economic system in human history. Of course, they should lead. Of course, they should colonize. Of course, they should bring their morals and values. Of course, it's like, to me, it's like, hey, to me, it's like, even this. Last thing I'll say is this, and I want to hear from you. When you hear people use specific examples of socialist states failing, what is your response about how capitalism had a hand in it, or the response that socialism cannot ever come to fruition because they always fail?
Well, what I say about that is that, see, when you are working off of a capitalist, when you're working off a slave owner mindset, right? Capitalism gives you slave owner mind. Let me see what they said. Definition of fascism is the marriage of corporation and state. Yes, I mean, yes, exactly. And we don't like corporations, and we're socialists. So that we want to completely destroy every corporation. Exactly. But anyways, so when I hear that, right, I know that first we get slave owner mindset living under capitalism. So if anything doesn't make money, it could feed people. People could be reading. People could be happy. If it doesn't make money, it doesn't matter. So this is what they've been saying about China. China's gonna fail. They're building houses and nobody lives in them. They got billions of houses.
We gotta go to China. Can you go to China? Mr. Slayer, sir, can you give me an example using affordable insulin about how if it doesn't make money, we don't get to have it, even if innovation, even if we're supposed to? Can you use affordable insulin as an example to
Yes,
create?
yes. Affordable insulin as well as even polio vaccines, right? All of these, the guy who made these wanted them to be damn near free. And the corporations, the person who made them, right? You guys want to talk about ownership. The person who made them wanted them to be free. His ownership was taken from him because capitalism is about taking and thieving and stealing shit. And they made it almost, what is it, like $800 or $80 per gram or whatever it is. They made it a tool of extraction. See, either these socialist countries, when they say socialist countries failed, uh Russia brought people who had an 11% literacy rate to a 99% literacy rate in 30 years. That means in one lifetime, you did not know how to read. And now everybody around you knows how to read. Are you telling me that is a failure? Are you telling me that the Tsarist regime had famines going on every 10 years? When the Soviets came in, those famines stopped immediately, right? Every time a communist comes in, they drastically increase the life expectancy, drastically increase the literacy, drastically increase living standards, and a record amount of time that capitalism could never. China literally had horses and plows in 1950, and now look at them today. They have the sun. Okay, they have all their cars are electric. Communism is not only better because it serves your needs. It's better because it works faster, right? It works much more efficient. It's not working to waste. It's not working for profit. It's working to get shit done. And as simple as that.
And if anybody listening too, and cause now I'm feeling woody too, bro. You know what I'm saying? Little bro done broke some shit up in me right now. Listen, if you feel like, well, if you guys think socialism is capitalism is so good, and how come y'all on this? Listen, an acceptable form of currency in capitalism is not critical socialist, communist, Marxist thoughts. As a matter of fact, within the system of capitalism, this is probably something that will lose opportunities or lose value because capitalism sees no value in communal aspects of products of production of any of that shit. You feel me?
And damn near don't see any value you thinking.
Like you guys are in capitalism and you talk about communism being good. Yes. So did the enslaved people that dared to imagine radically. They were living and surviving and taking the masses food and clothes while also hating the institution of plantation.
You have to live under the system to even know it exists. To even I can't, like, you can't critique a system because you live under it. I can't critique this movie because I'm watching it. It's not smart. It's not logical, right? You think you're being logical, you're not being logical. And the reason why is because the capitalism completely captures your logic. All of your logic is simply used to think, how do I gain profit? Profit, 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 profit. Not need. For 95% of humanity, our thought was need. How do I do this? Because I need it. I need it for my creativity. I need it for this. I need it for that. That is why humans do stuff, because we need it, right? You need to feel okay, right? This is why niggas smoke. I be smoking gas all the time. A young nigga need to de-stress. We have needs. And these needs will be met. If they will be met by capitalism, then that means they will be met through slavery. They will be met through rape. They will be met through murder. If you have socialism, then your needs will be met through collective organization. And as simple as that.
And just to add some historical context to what we're talking about, because a lot of people gonna be still trying to process this, but just people like this, man, because they say time is how we can contextualize a lot of different shit. You know what I mean? Capitalism, and this is according to Britannica and Harvard Gazette. Capitalism began to emerge between the 16th and 18th centuries in Europe. Capitalism began to emerge between the 16th century and 18th century. A lot of y'all believe that motherfuckers wasn't able to have a luxury or able to experience any type of freedom or liberties before the emergence of capitalism, which began in 1618 in Europe, particularly in England, transitioned from feudalism through merchant practices to agrarian changes. Think about this. The practice of commerce is not cornered by the market in capitalism. A lot of y'all don't understand history, so a lot of
Y'all
y'all
think markets mean capitalism.
definitely. The market, the concept of the market, the practice of the market, it predates the concept of capitalism. Mercantilism and being able to practice, you know what I'm saying, any type of that predates capitalism.
Yes.
While earlier forms existed, it cemented a dominant system in the Industrial Revolution in the 18th century.
And let me just add a little bit more right there, because
please
this is a good point. Colonial, and this is a very good point, right? And it's so much. But first, colonialism was an entire restructuring of the world. You had Aztec empires, you had Inca empires. Everybody was doing their shit. Everybody was surviving and living their life. The only reason why you have colonialism is because the people in Portugal, the people in Europe could not survive the way they were living, right? Because they were living in an extractive feudalistic system. So capitalism is literally born out of greed, out of too much, out of unsustainability. It is built off of unsustainability. It is completely an unsustainable system. And not only did capitalism put Eastern Europe in deeper serfdom, right? It enslaved the whole world and also enslaved people within Europe. So you guys want to sit here and talk, y'all love capitalism so much. Y'all love it. Y'all niggas is fucking peasants. Y'all are not the nobles. Y'all are not the kings. If you were to go back, you would not be the noble. You would be dying from fucking dysentery. Okay? So we're trying to move forward. You're trying to hold us back. Capitalism is not even 500 years old. Capitalism was born out of slavery, out of the most abhorrent shit you could think of, and it was born of non-sustainability. It was born out of using too many resources.
Yes, and now I'm getting into the Harvard Gazette, because regardless of what y'all feelings is, here are some historical facts. The key period of development of capitalism include the 16th century. For people that are thinking about it, what is the 16th century? That's the 1500s. Now, a lot of y'all illustrate how capitalism got y'all laws twisted and loosey-goosey because you believe that capitalism always breeds innovation and creativity, but you believe that we're stuck at a limitation of the economic government that come from the 1500s. So how is it you believe we should always advance everything in every aspect of our life? We should always be able to,
but not our system.
But not the system, though. We are only stuck to what the Europeans came up with in the 15th century. That's my mind. But think about it. The decline of feudalism increased trade. The decline in feudalism increased trade, meaning trade was already happening. And the expansion of clothing industry, specifically in England, it led to the rise of accumulated capital and wage labor. My brother, my question to you. When I say accumulated capital, as if you was on the block with one of your, one of the homies, you feel me, in Atlanta, and you passing the blunt to the homie like, hey, my nigga, what you say? Capitalism?
Accumulated capital. Look,
what is that, bro?
Primitive accumulation is simple as this. It's where you go from people having access to land, tools, and survival to people having nothing except their ability to work for someone else, right? So to accumulate capital, what do you think you do, right? You go put gun to niggas' head, right? You go steal. Capital comes from material things like this. If I don't have this, I have to go take this from somebody. To go take this from somebody, I have to do violence. I have to do rape. I have to do this. So when they're talking about accumulating capital, they're talking about putting you into slavery. For them to get something, you have to be put into slavery. You have to lose. There are systems where it was not like that. For me to get something, we have to go get it, right? That's how systems should work. It should not work like I sit on my ass and you do all the fucking work. That is what accumulating capital means, and as simple as that. Capitalism doesn't start peacefully, right? It starts by taking resources.
To me, what it is, John Locke won. John Locke won, and he beat everybody, you know what I'm saying, in terms of ideas of what you believe the world should always already operate as. John Locke believed we should have life, liberty, and land. The American co-founders changed land in pursuit of happiness. a lot of y'all believe the only way we can understand American history, understand world history, is through us documenting who privatized on the land. And that's what y'all getting it all fucked up with. Is really, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, even when I keep on going historically, it's this. In the 16th to 17th century, this is the 1500s to the 1600s, the agrarian mercantile phase. This is what I say. Agrarian capitalism grew through the enclosure movement, where land was privatized and worked by
taking common lands
for market production.
Exactly. Because what people like to look at history through kings, but real history is told through struggle, right? So they do stuff to control people, right? The reason that we see feudalism is because Rome fell. And Rome was a centralized power. So feudalism decentralized the power. That means there was a lot of people who had a lot of power, and not just one person who had all the power. And for these people to keep their power, they had to consolidate it. And consolidation means that I have to take this nigga who has been living on this land for generations upon generations. I have to make sure that he cannot survive off of that land without doing something for me.
Mr. ChainSlayer, sir. I think,
what would your role in this communism you speak of?
Can you respond to the question? I'm gonna read it for people that's listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. This person, Jillian, is asking, what would be your role in this communism you speak of? Can you respond to that, and then I'll respond?
Well, my role would probably be as a communist. I would probably be an educator, and I would probably be upon some education committee, because under communism, education is very important. Capitalism does not want you to know shit because it doesn't want you to know how to run shit. Communism needs you to know how to run shit. It needs you to be a part of society. It needs you. Communism gives you power. Capitalism leaves you powerless. This is why it needs you to be dumb and stupid. So under communism, I would be an educator.
Joby Wanobi, you speaking facts right here. Life, liberty, and happiness is the Declaration of Independence. The Constitution, the law, went back to Locke. Life, liberty, and property. That property included human beings. Not only did it include human beings, it was understood as a necessary. In order for you to privatize labor, in order for you to have profit, it requires human beings.
Yeah, and for their system, it is a necessary, right? For their system, for the way these fucking evil, abhorrent niggas live, it is because they don't know. What are the Native Americans? They knew how to tend the land, right? These niggas from Europe ain't no shit, so they had to do violent, abhorrent shit. They had to do this shit, and mind you, even the democracy we have now, they like to tell you it's from Greek. No, it's from the Six Nations, right? It's from the Iroquois, right? They already had democracy. The Native Nations already had all of this shit. We stole it, we exploited it, and we erased it so that we could tell our own history. Because little do these people know is that if you were not a white man, a white rich man who was Protestant, then you wouldn't be able to own land. If you were Irish, you wouldn't be able to own land. Don't be Italian. Don't be none of this shit, because you're not going to be able to own land. So this is every time. All these systems are about serving a small few for their needs and their limitations.
Man, listen. I'm gonna answer a few more of these questions, then we're gonna be able to get out of here, man.
Good.
The first one is, I think that the logic of this, I think the reason why I'm responding to a lot of the descending comments is because I know this will be the knee-jerk reaction that a lot of people.
No, it's good. It's good to break through these. It's good to break through these walls.
Exactly. And I know this as a teacher, as an educator, as a professor. I know that and I know how I feel like we out country as a country nigga. I never try to correct how somebody say something. So in my mind, I say pedagogy. You feel me? You said
yeah. I don't even know how to say that nigga name, Freire.
Listen, I'm be honest with you. I've heard people debate about how, like, I'm not French. I've heard people say, it's French and it's Freire. It's Paulo Freire. I don't know, bro. I know who you're talking about. You said
as long as we get the idea and concept across, right? Exactly. It's just language. We used to speak through like, like we used to speak all type of ways.
Exactly. So, I'm, what I mean, But in doing this, I think that pedagogy, like I got a master's degree in education. So I think about how we train adults, and I think about, like, I got a master's degree in teaching adults specifically. So I know that a lot of us as adults, we're gonna filter everything we learn through our life experiences. You feel me? And that's really called andragogy. You feel me? When teaching adults, pedagogy when teaching kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I know that a lot of people will have knee-jerk reactions, either subconsciously, or you listening to this in the car, or you showing this to somebody on Twitter, and you thinking like, what the hell these niggas talking about? So my point in engaging the comment section is to try to forward the analysis to give you a larger understanding of the concepts of what socialism is and what capitalism is. A lot of us think that capitalism is always going to give us the ability to climb the ladder. But we know over time, I would argue, Black people have started to work harder, and it's a fact. It's not my emotion. It's not my experience. The statistics show the wealth, the racial wealth gap has only widened in the past 70 years, and it hasn't gotten, you know what I'm saying, no. So that means the white folks that have and the Black folks that have not has only widened. And more specifically, in general, white people and Black people, the more time has went by, it has made it where we've gone by further. No matter how many Black billionaires you can count right now, no matter how many Black millionaires you can count right now, capitalism wants you to sensationalize these individualistic ass ideas to get past how the collective is starting.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's what the system does, is that, first of all, any Black man with $1 billion, his $1 billion is making 100 billion for a white man, right? This system was built for white men because white is not a race. It is a political identity, okay? It was built to separate the poor.
Brother, bro, I ain't know we was going that deep. Now,
Bacon's Rebellion. Bacon's Rebellion, right? White, Black, Native Americans all came together. They was finna take George Washington bitch ass down. And the United States government had to say, hold on, for us to keep this going, for us guys who are all up in these white houses and these Greek looking houses, for us to stay in these bitches, we're going to have to make sure that these dirty white people, these Black people, and these Native Americans do not come together and realize that they are all poor and that they're losing and we're winning, right? So this is why they codify race. And every time throughout, all colonized spaces, they do this so that they can categorize labor. And as simple as that.
And just like, I feel like my last things I'm gonna say is, you know what I mean, the earth is approximately 4.5 billion years old. Human history, you feel me? Human history timeline. Let me look at this real fast. Human history.
What is that, like
2.5? Oh, you feel me? The world 2.5 billion. Historians argue about it, but you know what I'm saying? Somewhere around 300,000 years humans been here. I just give you historical analysis showing you that the beginning of capitalism comes from the 16th century, meaning the 1500s. When people make the claim that the whole world practiced capitalism, it's all of history. This is a empirical false statement. It's empirically just wrong.
It's wrong. That's not right.
It is ahistorical. And it's just the way that this justifies colonialism when we view the way that Europeans have brought on the world violently, thinking about their values, thinking about how they've been able to, you know what I'm saying, rationalize the world. That to me justifies or rationalizes the violence and being like, but Mr. Slayer, if you enjoy iPhones, you can't be mad at a little bit of African enslavement, a little bit of native genocide. In order for you to get that iPhone that you agree, you feel me? I see you have that amazing fur hat on, my brother. You would not be able to have that amazing fur red hat that you have on if it wasn't for the bloodshed of capitalism and colonialism. And if you enjoy that hat, you're being a
hypocrite.
Hypocrite. You being. Let's.
I'm just so sorry, comrade. I don't know. I know that fur hats were never made before capitalism. And, you know, I'm so dumb. I'm sorry, Master. Master, I'm sorry. I know that without you, I wouldn't be able to taste a tomato. Without you, I wouldn't be able to even think, Master. There was no language before you, right? That's what that mindset gives us, right? We have to unplug from the matrix. We have to understand that things are not made because of capitalism. Things are made because of people, right? And people were making pottery, people were making art, people were making all type of shit. Technology, they built pyramids way before capitalism. Oh my God, the Indus Valley had sewers, had major grid roads, had huge just temples. They had fast food restaurants, matriarchal societies, right? So even patriarchy is if something can be built, it can be destroyed. And capitalism was built, and it was not built out of necessity, right?
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
built out
force.
of a lack of resources, and also, mind you, let me just say this to y'all Europeans. Y'all Europeans got built to put to y'all ass so bad by the Romans, so bad by brown people for so long that colonialism is also a trauma reaction, just to let y'all know. Because we was putting belt to y'all ass. Y'all stole our science. Y'all stole everything. And then y'all died. Mind you, the whole time y'all were dying from disease and being dirty. Y'all lost all the knowledge that we had gained. Y'all tried to call us primitive to make yourselves feel better. Because the life you were living was fucking terrible. So you had to go to the expansive world where people were living how they were supposed to be, and you had to fuck it up. You had to steal it. It was a theft of energy, it was a theft of the world to incorporate it into one global system.
I'm trying about to say. I think about to start talking. Made me thinking. I'm being petty. One could say that the development of capitalism was a trauma response to the bubonic plague, to the way that you know what I'm saying.
Yes, they dirty. They
Europe,
dirty.
Europe,
And you see this never had, bro. You never had none of that shit happen in ancient Indus Valley, in Mesopotamian societies, and Egyptian societies, and Grecian and Roman societies. You never had disease like this happen. The worst they had was fucking locusts. Okay, it had to come from the outside. So y'all not only got belt put to y'all ass so bad, but we like y'all were literally like back, like read what the Romans said about y'all. Barbarians, hairy niggas in caves. This is how y'all was living, right?
and
We
listen,
was
I know we saying it brash. I know we saying it in a way that
Yeah,
may
it's
not.
not bad. You know, it's
Listen,
we y'all was living natural.
like the facts is literally documented that a lot of the
Yes.
Europeans in the Southern Peninsula, they got domesticated and got taught how to wash their ass by different people that came across
Yes.
the peninsula. We also know that
Yes.
a bunch of the colonizers and enslavers that came to the Americas, the very people they colonized taught them, hey, listen, unless y'all going, you know what I'm saying, unless y'all want to keep on killing people of disease and y'all down disease, you have to
Yeah.
wash your ass a little better. It's just
Even
like,
way back
I know it
when
comes
we were Homo sapiens and you got
I know it.
Neanderthals, right? Like the Neanderthals mixed up with like Homo sapiens came from Africa. Neanderthals were like up there in Eurasia and in the Caucasus Mountains and stuff. Y'all, we had to like give y'all like humanity, like for reals, and y'all disappeared because we like might outmade y'all.
Shout out to Jake Elmore. Jake Elmore said, brother, I don't give a fuck what my job is or his job is if my needs are met.
Exactly.
And it's just like,
Exactly.
I think that's a great way to kind of end this out. I want to lead the people with this. And I want to say this with love and respect. I know me and him are feeding off the energy. So we've been kind
Yeah, I
of
be hating. I'm sorry. You know, I love y'all. I love y'all white people, and I love everybody.
you know
But
what I'm
I just
saying?
want freedom for us all.
Oh yeah, well, I ain't apologizing for white discomfort. I think that white discomfort is some of the best things in terms of mobilizing. I think forcing white people to sit in their discomfort and forcing them to really celebrate the education of discomfort is something that is productive for all parties involved. I know somebody that is a professional in education, master in education. I know that discomfort, a level of discomfort when you hear information that make you feel
Builds
wiggly,
people.
that's how not only does it build you, it starts to really push you into action and build on your understanding. I think that when you pull into my channel, whether you disagree, whether you agree, whether you say fuck me, whether you hate me, whether you love me, I believe education is elevation. See what I'm saying? That is the goal for the haters, for the naysayers, for the supporters, for all that. So I'm gonna leave y'all on this. A lot of the conversation, I know that your initial response is going to be to conflate commerce with capitalism. Commerce is defined as the activity of buying and selling, especially on large scale. My homework to y'all, my call to action to y'all is this. if you keep on conflating the activity of buying and selling, especially on a large scale, to capitalism, my challenge to you is to go to Google Scholar or whatever you like to do in terms of looking for credible evidence and learn the difference between capitalism and commerce, and why the buying and selling of things, especially in large scale, predates capitalism by hundreds of years.
Yep. So and you don't need slavery, you don't need rape, you don't need murder, you don't need fucking pedophilia, you don't need all of this, a military, you don't need any of this to buy and sell shit. I mean,
and then before I play my outro, you feel me? I can't wait for y'all to see my new outro too. I'm talking about it made some. Hey bro, matter of fact, I'm gonna send you the song that I created. You feel me? For my, you know, I'm gonna send you. See what you think.
Okay, okay, bet.
In closing, you feel me? For real, before I play this introduction, what I would say is that when it comes to how we learn and what we learn, I also challenge y'all to reflect on how finance and capitalism has an embedded value or inherent value on how we ascribe value to what we learn. I.e., you believe that the liberal arts degree has extremely lower value than the STEM degree, and then we all ignore how even right now the Heritage Foundation that created the Project 2025, they created a think tank. In that think tank, they have individuals that have degrees in women's gender studies. The same entity that tell you learning women and gender studies is bad created a think tank in order to defund and in order to discredit the same ideology that they have a part of that think tank. So all this to say this is that capitalism has a lot of y'all lost in the sauce, and you don't realize how much it's impacted how you value learning and how you don't value particular things you should be learning. Education, you feel me? I encourage y'all to go follow this. But as a matter of fact, you should just real quickly, how can people go follow you? People in the comment section is loving, you feel me, what you putting down, how you putting it down.
Appreciate it. First, let me say this too. Like, I want to say, what going along with what you said. Knowledge is power, and to leave you powerless, they will leave you knowledgeless. I am the chain slayer. I slay the chains. We will break the chains upon your mind. We will break the psychological prison that they have put you in, because oppression is not only physical, but it is a barrier upon the way you think. You can follow me on Instagram, ChainSlayer9000. CHAINSL4, like the number 4, and then Y, and then ER9000. I'm for everybody. We want liberation for everybody. This is why we out here educating y'all, and this is what I do all day. It's for the people, it's by the people.
In part 2, when we have part 2, bro, we're gonna have the same conversation, but we're gonna challenge ourselves to get as intersectional as possible in terms of exploitation, and in terms of how capitalism has commodified transness or made it where we fight against, you know what I'm saying? Like, think about all the various intersectional ways of oppression, how capitalism fuels those things, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's gonna be our next conversation. We definitely gotta have part 2. I enjoyed this a lot.
Yeah, of course.
Appreciate you, bro.
Of course, you the GOAT.